Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So essentially just going to give you a little bit of a build up on the big game at the weekend. Of course, Liverpool host Chelsea at Anfield on Sunday at 4:30 of course as well. But I think the form Chelsea are in at the moment, because obviously now they have won their last 4 games. Of course, obviously Chelsea won tonight in the Europa League first leg in the quarter-final against Slavia Prague by 1-0. Marco Alonso, scoring the goal in the game, of course, as well. I think initially Maurizio Sarri, had made about 7 changes in the game tonight, of course, as well. So I think Chelsea have got a lot of confidence, going into the game on Sunday, and they have won the last 4 games of Chelsea, to be quite honest. They beat Slavia Prague tonight 1-0, they beat West Ham on Monday night, 2-0, they beat Brighton 3-0, they beat Cardiff 2-1, which game they were lucky to win, to be quite honest with you. But they have regained form, recently, Chelsea. Now they're sitting third in the Premier League, of course, and obviously they're fighting for that top 4 of Chelsea. I think they have got a great chance as well of winning the Europa League, to be quite honest. I think Chelsea or Arsenal possibly, one of them, could win the Europa League, and it would be good because it's obviously an English team, of course. Arsenal beating Napoli tonight as well, by 2-0 in the Europa League, of course, as well. So that's a big result for Arsenal. So I think Arsenal or Chelsea, could win the Europa League, but obviously both teams as well are going for the top 4, of course, as well. Obviously Eden Hazard didn't start the game tonight for Chelsea, of course, against Slavia Prague. He's in contention to start on Sunday in the big game against Liverpool, is Eden Hazard. And I think if Chelsea, can possibly, get Champions League football for next season, so if they can win the Europa League this season or get the top 4 or get, and get Champions League for next season, I think maybe Eden Hazard, may consider, staying at Chelsea and remaining loyal to Chelsea, of course, as well. But I think he's in contention to start on Sunday against Liverpool, is Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard is potentially, we do know, he's Chelsea's best player, without a shadow of a doubt. There's been a lot of rumours, linking him with a move to Real Madrid this summer. Of course, obviously now Zinedine Zidane has been reappointed, Real Madrid manager. Of course, maybe had Eden Hazard may be keen on making the move to Real Madrid this summer. Obviously last summer, Eden Hazard, obviously, I think he was considering leaving Chelsea last summer, was Eden Hazard. But obviously this is 7th season now at Chelsea. Eden Hazard, he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions. I think he's scored over 100 odd goals, but I think his work ethnic's good. His physicality is very good indeed, and I still think he's one of the best players in the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt, is Eden Hazard. But reports were coming out the other week, actually saying that reportedly Real Madrid are close to coming to an agreement, to get Eden Hazard. It did say Chelsea want around £100 million for Eden Hazard, of course, as well, because Chelsea have been in the process of trying to get Eden Hazard, of course, a new contract as well. I think Chelsea were willing to offer him around £300,000 a week, but Chelsea have not convinced him yet to sign a new contract. His current deal ends in 2020, does Eden Hazard, of course, well. But reports are coming out the other week from the media saying that reportedly Real Madrid are willing to offer £100 million for Eden Hazard. Maybe Real Madrid still believe they can maybe get him for £70-80 million, but it did say Real Madrid were willing to offer him a 6-year deal worth around £110 million and a weekly wage of around £350,000 a week, reportedly as well. So I think he still may intend on going to Real Madrid this summer, Eden Hazard, of course, but it's more than likely Chelsea will want around £100 million for Eden Hazard, of course. And I think he's 28 years of age, is Eden Hazard. He's well Premier League proven, of course, as well. But potentially, I think he's in contention to start on Sunday against Liverpool, of course, as well as Eden Hazard. Potentially, Chelsea have got a transfer ban, of course, as well. So whether this transfer ban will be delayed or not, I do not know. So potentially, if Eden Hazard is to go, they wouldn't want to lose Eden Hazard, because if that transfer ban doesn't get delayed, obviously this summer they aren't going to be able to find a replacement for Eden Hazard, of course, as well. Potentially, they did get a couple of signings back in January. Did Chelsea? They did get Gonzalo Higuain in. They have the option to make the deal permanent this summer, and also they got Pulisic in back in January as well. But Pulisic is going to be officially a Chelsea player in the new season, of course, because obviously he's being loaned back to Borussia Dortmund as Pulisic, of course, as well. But Chelsea's record against the big teams hasn't been great, this season, to be quite honest with you. This is why Maurizio Sarri has been under pressure, to be quite honest with you. He hasn't won any silverware yet, any major honours as manager, Maurizio Sarri. Obviously, He used to be Napoli manager, didn't he, Maurizio Sarri? So he's done pretty well, considering it's only his first season with Chelsea. Of course, Maurizio Sarri. Obviously, he has a sort of like a different kind of philosophy, does Maurizio Sarri, but he hasn't got a great pedigree in terms of winning any major honours because he hasn't won any major honours yet. Maurizio Sarri. So potentially Chelsea have probably got to give him a bit of time because Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers, in a short period of time. Of Chelsea, they had Conte. He won the Premier League in his first season with Chelsea. I think he won the FA Cup with Chelsea as well. They had the likes of Mourinho, they sacked him, even though he won the Premier League with Chelsea there. You had the likes of Scarada, Avram Grant, who's the other ones they've had? They've had quite a few with Chelsea, so they have sacked quite a few managers, in a short period of time, as we all know, as well. So potentially, as we all know, it could go either way on Sunday, between Liverpool and Chelsea, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Liverpool will want to win the game, of course, obviously, to keep their title ambitions alive. Obviously, Liverpool, of course, winning midweek against Porto by 2-0 in the Champions League quarter-final first leg, and then Naby Keita scoring in that goal as well, and Naby Keita scored in his last 2 games, for Liverpool, of course. He scored his first goal for the club against Southampton the other week, of course, as well, did Naby Keita, but Liverpool invested really, really well last summer, they addressed the deficiencies, really, really well, did Liverpool. I think they spent about £171 million last summer, did Liverpool, of course. They addressed the defensive deficiencies, with the signing of Virgil van Dijk, of course, well, in January of last year, of course, and he's done really, really well for Liverpool. I think Liverpool paid £75 million for him. They also recommended a good goalkeeper, to come in as well. But they have got great players at Liverpool, and they've got a great attacking trio in Salah, Firmino, and Mane, of course. And it's basically Eden Hazard against Salah in this game, of course, as well. And potentially Salah's a really, really good player. I don't think he's the best forward or winner in the Premier League, to be quite honest with you. But I think in terms of an attacking intent, he's definitely one of the best. Maybe his record against the top teams this season isn't good, but I think he shows that ability. His ability is fantastic. His awareness is good. His work ethnic's good. His physicality is good. It's good the way that he gets them runs in behind. His finishing is absolutely fantastic indeed. So potentially Salah could cause problems for Chelsea. Eden Hazard could cause problems for Liverpool, of course, as well. But I do really, really highly rate Salah. And I think Sadio Mane is a really, really good player. I don't think he's like on the same level as Salah, but I think he's good. He can create chances. Can Sadio Mane? He can also score goals as well. And I think he can create chances. Can Sadio Mane? And I do really, really highly rate Sadio Mane. To be quite honest with him as well. I think Firmino's a good player for Liverpool. He can score goals. He can also provide as well. So they are a good attacking trio in Liverpool's squad, of course, as well. And potentially, Liverpool obviously, have never won the Premier League since it got founded in 1992. All in all, they haven't won it for nearly 3 decades now, of course. Well, because obviously Jurgen Klopp's been at Liverpool a few years. He hasn't won out as Liverpool manager yet, but they've done really, really well in the league this season. They've only suffered 1 defeat of Liverpool this season. They are 2 points clear of Manchester City at the moment, of course. But of course, if Liverpool keep winning, it's going to intensify, more pressure on Manchester City. It's going to intensify more pressure on Manchester City, of course, as well. But if Man City win every game from now till the end of the season, of course, Manchester City are crowned champions, of course. And obviously, Manchester City are going for their 4th league title, of course, as well. So potentially, Liverpool haven't won it for nearly 3 decades. They haven't actually won a major honour since 2006, is it, or something like that as well. And I thought Liverpool, would have gone downhill, when they lost the likes of Luis Suarez to Barcelona, when they lost the likes of Philippe Coutinho to Barcelona. I thought Liverpool, would have gone downhill, to be quite honest with you as well. But potentially, they've only lost 1 game all season. If you look at the running, Manchester City, of course, have still got Tottenham to play, as we all know, in the league. They've still got to come to our place, Old Trafford, of course, as well. Liverpool's only tough game really now in this running is Chelsea on Sunday, of course, as well. So potentially Manchester City, do play before Liverpool. Manchester City, of course, go to Crystal Palace, as we all know as well. So if City do win that, obviously City go back top by a point. But then if Liverpool beat Chelsea, Liverpool go back top by 2 points, of course, as well. So it could still go either way, to be quite honest with you. Liverpool, it's looking likely they're going to be heading into the Champions League semi-finals, of course, as well, because obviously they've got a 2-goal advantage over Porto, of course. But as I did currently say, Chelsea have suffered bad defeats this season. They lost at Man City 6-0. They lost to us in the Cup 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, of course, as well. They've lost at Tottenham away this season 3-1. They've lost at Arsenal at the Emirates, 2-0, of course, as well. So they haven't been great it against the big size this season, Chelsea, of course, as well. But they have regained form recently. You know, they've won the last 4 games now in all competitions, including tonight's game, of course, as well. So I think they've got a great chance of winning the Europa League, Chelsea. But obviously they're fighting for that top 4, of course, as well. So it could go either way on Sunday, you know, between Liverpool, Chelsea. Obviously, as we all know, you know, Chelsea actually beat them early on in the season in the EFL Cup, you know, 2-1. As we all know, Chelsea beat them 2-1 in the EFL Cup, and it was a draw earlier on at Stamford Bridge, of course, earlier on in the season, as we all know as well. So really, it's going to be a mouth-watering clash. Could go either way, you know, to be quite honest. But now there's not many games to go. I think the first one to slip out of Liverpool, Manchester City. You know, I think, you know, that will be decisive, of course, as well. But City going to Crystal Palace away, that's probably not going to be easy for Manchester City, you know, considering, you know, that Manchester City lost at home to Crystal Palace early on this season, and City are really good at home, you know, to be quite honest with you. They seldom lose at the Etihad Stadium, of course, as well. But in terms of the experience of the league, obviously City have got the experience, you know, they've already won 3 Premier Leagues, you know, City have invested a lot of money, of course, as well. I think Pep Guardiola spent about over £1 billion in all his career, or something like that. Majority of that money has been spent on Manchester City, of course, as well. But potentially City, obviously, you know, have got Crystal Palace this weekend before Liverpool kick off at Chelsea, but City will want to bounce back from that defeat they suffered. City want to bounce back from that defeat, you know, they suffered against Tottenham on Tuesday night in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final, of course, because I think Pep Guardiola, you know, did rotate his team in that game against Tottenham, did Guardiola. Potentially City weren't at the races, City weren't at the best, you know, on Tuesday night, you know, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Sergio Aguero missed a penalty in the game. Obviously, you know, I thought Tottenham played very well, indeed, and potentially that new stadium's a majestic stadium, you know, from Tottenham Hotspur. It looks a really good aesthetic stadium, you know, that new stadium Tottenham have got. That's going to be a memorable night for Tottenham, of course, because obviously, you know, that was their first European game, and obviously, you know, it was, you know, obviously they beat Manchester City, of course, by 1-0 as well. Obviously, you saw Kane going off injured in that game, of course, as well. So potentially, I do think probably, you know, City will go to Crystal Palace and win comfortably, you know, to be quite honest with you. But you never know in the Premier League. But he's got such a great pedigree as Guardiola. You know, he's obviously, you know, emulated the football he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and he has took it to Manchester City, of course. And, you know, City is still you know, thinking that the quadruple, you know, is currently still on for them. And when it goes to the Etihad in the second leg against Tottenham, you know, City, when they're playing at the best, they are capable of scoring 2, 3, 4 goals, because they have got the quality in their team to do it, of Manchester City, of course, as well. So potentially they're still confident that they can overcome that 1-goal deficit, Manchester City, in the second leg against Tottenham, of course, as well. But as I did say, Guardiola's a great manager. As I said, he's emulated the football he did at Bayern Munich and Barcelona, of course, as well. But potentially, if City had to choose out of the Premier League and the Champions League, of course, if they had to choose out of one of them, obviously they'd like to win both, but if they had to choose out of one of them, obviously, you know, Manchester City, you know, would rather win the Champions League, because obviously, you know, City have never won the Champions League. Obviously, we do know that City are in the FA Cup final, of course, as well. They've obviously already won the Carabao Cup this season of Man City. But yeah, it's obviously, you know, between Manchester City and Liverpool, definitely, you know, for the league, of course, this season as well. So yeah, so potentially Chelsea could then, you know, Liverpool's title hopes. You know, Chelsea are good enough, you know, to do it. Chelsea have been in a good run of form lately, as I currently said. Obviously, you know, more things will update and more things will build up, you know, towards the game, of course, as well. But as I did say earlier on, guys, you know, it's about my team, Manchester United, of course, and this is a game we've got to win against West Ham at the weekend, of course, as well. This is a must-win game, you know. We've obviously lost 4 of our last 5 games, of course, as well, and this is a game Manchester United have got to win. We're sitting 6th in the league, I think, at the moment. I think there's 3 points separating 6th to 4th at the moment. So this is a game Manchester United have got to win against West Ham at the weekend, of course, as well. West Ham themselves have been in a bit of a bad run of form recently, as well, you know, West Ham. So this should be a game, you know, that Manchester United, of course, are going to win as well. There was a lot of positives to take. You know, on Wednesday night against Barcelona. And I thought Manchester United, you know, were really unlucky against Barcelona, because I thought we had them under the cosh for the majority of that game. We pressed them really well. You know, we had them pegged back in their own half for the majority of the game. You know, I thought, you know, we had them pegged back in their own half, you know, for the majority of the game. I thought, as I did say, I thought we pressed well. The desire was good. The tenacity was really good indeed. I think the only thing that let Manchester United down, you know, we was lacking in that final third. We wasn't creative enough in the final final third, and I just don't think we created enough chances in the game, you know, to be quite honest with as well. But don't potentially rule us out, you know, going to the new camp, of course, and I can't wait till we go to the new camp. It's going to be a fantastic experience, of course. It's going to bring back a lot of memories, you know, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, because obviously, you know, 20 years ago, you know, one of his most iconic moments as a player, obviously scoring in that 1999 final at the new camp against Bayern Munich, and obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, winning Manchester United the treble, of course, as well. But anyway, we've got to win this game against West Ham, of course, as well. Obviously, we've got an injury crisis. West Ham, of course, have got an injury crisis, of course, as well. Potentially West Ham, I think they've got the likes of Carlos Sanchez out. They've got the likes of Carlos. I think West Ham have got the likes of Carlos Sanchez out. I think also too, Sammy Nasri could be out for West Ham. He did say they could have like 6 first-team players out. I think Winston Reid is out for West Ham as well. I think Andy Carroll and that's out for West Ham. Who else? Jack Wilshere as well is out for West Ham. So they have got quite a few players out of West Ham. So that could give Manchester United a boost. But we have got an injury crisis ourselves, because we do know, I don't think Herrera and Matic is going to be available, to be quite honest with you. So I think he'll probably revert to the, with Fred, McTominay and Pogba in our midfield like he did on Wednesday night. He'll probably go with Fred, McTominay and Pogba as a midfield on Saturday evening against West Ham. So he'll probably go with Fred and McTominay in that midfield. Obviously, we do know that, obviously, you know, Ashley Young's suspended, so that is a positive, of course. Ashley Young is suspended for the game, which is very, very good indeed, because he got sent off against Wolves the other week, you know, did Ashley Young. So currently we know that Ashley Young is currently suspended. And we do know also too that Luke Shaw is suspended as well after he got 10 bookable offences, of course, and he's got a 2-match suspension in the league, so he's set to be suspended for Saturday evening against West Ham. He's also suspended for the Everton game on the 21st as well of April, when we do go to Goodison Park, and he's also suspended for the second leg against Barcelona, of course. So potentially, you know, Luke Shaw is going to be a big miss indeed. So he's going to rotate in them full-back positions. He's probably likely Diego Dalot will play at right back, and probably Marcus Rojo will play as a left back, of course, as well. Potentially, as I did currently say, we do know that Bay's probably still out. He's out with a concussion, head injuries. Bay, Darmian's still out, I think, as well. We do know that Valencia's still out with a calf injury. Sanchez, Solskjaer confirmed in his press conference, I think it was. I think that Sanchez could be available for the game. I don't think he'll start the game, Sanchez, because recently he's just had a knee injury as Alexis Sanchez, of course, as well. But potentially, I can't see him starting. I think he'll play Martial on the left-hand side. And Rashford, I think, will be rested for this game on Saturday evening, of course, as well, because, you know, he's had quite a few injuries in the last couple of weeks, as Marcus Rashford, as we all know, and potentially most recently, you know, he hasn't been playing to his potential best, Marcus Rashford. So potentially for me, he didn't look fully fit on Wednesday night, and potentially for me, he does need a rest, does Marcus Rashford. And I also think he's ill as well, so probably Lukaku will be playing up top, and I think, you know, Lingard will be on that right-hand side, of course, as well. So this is a game, you know, Manchester United have got to win, you know, without a shadow of a doubt indeed. Most recently, you know, we've been in a bad vein of form, of course, as well. But I think the likes of Fred and McTominay, you know, deserve more opportunities, you know, based on their performances recently, you know, especially, you know, on Wednesday night against Barcelona, because obviously now it's past midnight, of course, as well. So potentially, as we all know, you know, you can see the deficiencies in the squad at Manchester United, as you all currently know, and obviously we know that investment is needed into the club this summer. Obviously, we're going to get around, is it £250 million to spend this summer or something like that? Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United, of course, this summer as well. And potentially, I still think Solskjaer's the right man for Manchester United. You know, obviously he was a great player for 11 years under Alex Ferguson, of course, won a lot of silverware, scored a lot of goals. Okay, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree at the moment, but now he's got the job permanently. It's a 3-year deal. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's expectation levels are going to be to get us back to the powerhouse as he was under Ferguson, elevate us to that high level, and get us in that commanding position, you know, where we do want to be, and get us up there, you know, challenging and winning trophies, of course, as well. But I think now we've got 6 games left, of course. I think we've got to win 5 of our remaining 6 games at least, if we have got any chances of top 4. But I think if we don't win on Saturday evening against West Ham, I think top 4 is definitely over, guys, of course, as well. And obviously, our next 2 home games after West Ham is Manchester City at home and Chelsea at home, and they are going to be 2 difficult games, of course, as well, you know, for Manchester United. But yeah, the most essential thing is, as we all know, Manchester United, of course, are still looking to hire a director of football to come in as well. And as I did say, there's been quite a few candidate names mentioned, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing in the summer transfer window, without a shadow of a doubt. Indeed, he's going to need backing this summer. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, but he's been in regular contact with Ed Woodward. It's good that he's emphasising his targets for the summer, but we've got to get the right players that have got the ability to elevate Manchester United in the next 2 to 3 years, of course, as well. It's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, showed an interest, in quite a few young players, of course. Well, maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment in the summer, and maybe we should spend that money wisely, because there is quite a few players out there that are available for a reasonable figure, of course, as well. But Solskjaer wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history, of course, considering, we didn't spend out in January, we didn't spend much last summer, of course, as well. And potentially, he's identified the positions where he thinks we need to strengthen up. We definitely now need a couple of additions in that midfield. We need a right back. We need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side. We need a centre back. Someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. And I think the left hand side we're okay. Because I think on the left, we're looking very, very good. That's where the majority of our attack is coming from, that left hand side. Maybe some people are saying, that we do need a backup striker, of course, as well. Some people are saying Rashford isn't on that kind of level yet. He's still only young, is Marcus Rashford. He's only 21. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. I mainly analysed his performances under Solskjaer. He's been really, really good indeed. He's usually like lightning. He likes to get them runs in behind, but most recently he hasn't been in great form, because he has had a few injuries, as Marcus Rashford. But some people say he's not on that level yet, and I don't think he's nowhere near on the same levels of the likes of the Kylian Mbappe's and all that. I think it'll take him maybe a year or two at least to emulate Kylian Mbappe's level, of course, as well. So I don't think he'll participate in Saturday evening, but as I was currently saying, there's been a lot of talks, going on today, guys, as we all know, as well, about Idrissa Gueye. And Idrissa Gueye could be available for a reasonable figure this summer. I've updated you about Idrissa Gueye, quite a few times on my videos. I did 3 yesterday, I think. Obviously, this is my first one today as well, because obviously now it's the early hours of the morning. But Idrissa Gueye, there's been talks about him, going, and I think Man United have identified him as a potential replacement for Ander Herrera, of course. We have emphasised, quite a few targets who could replace Ander Herrera at Manchester United. And Idrissa Gueye is 29 years of age. He's a Senegal international. I think he's actually the same age as Ander Herrera, because Ander Herrera, of course, is 29 years of age, of course, as well. But Herrera's done more in his career, than Idrissa Gueye, don't get me wrong. But Idrissa Gueye's performances for Everton have looked really, really good indeed. He's been at Everton, a number of years now, as Idrissa Gueye. Obviously, he's a former Aston Villa player. He's a former Lille player, as well. And he's actually Premier League proven, as Idrissa Gueye. He's a defensive midfielder, of course, as well. I think all in all in the Premier League, he's made 128 Premier League appearances. Obviously, the majority of these appearances has obviously, become as an Everton player, of course, as well. But based on his fantastic performances, he extended his contract with Everton in February of last year, of course. So he extended his contract till 2022. Did Idrissa Gueye, of course, as well. But reports are now coming out saying that he could be available for around £30 million this summer. Could Idrissa Gueye, of course, as well. But Everton got him for around just over £7 million, because Everton triggered a release clause in Idrissa Gueye's contract, and Everton got him for just over £7 million, of course, as well. So there has been quite a few talks going on about that today. But I think Idrissa Gueye, can break up the play. He can gallop forward. He's a good interceptor of the ball as well. And I think he's more mobile than Matic, and I also think he's better on the ball, than the Nemanja Matic, because I've watched some of his performances for Everton, of course, as well. So he could be available for just £30 million this summer, or maybe even under £30 million. PSG inquired about getting him in January, but I think PSG put a bid or two in, was it? But obviously, Everton had currently turned this bid down, because I think Everton wanted £40 million for Idrissa Gueye back in the January transfer window, of course, as well. So he could potentially, replace Ander Herrera, because Ander Herrera, as I said, a lot of people have been speaking about, saying that reportedly he wants £200,000 a week from Manchester United, if he's to remain loyal to the club, if he's to sign a new contract term at the club. And we do know that Ander Herrera is not a £200,000 a week player. Don't get me wrong, he's a good midfielder, and he's been a good servant for Manchester United. He has made 187 appearances in all competitions, for Manchester United, and it's looking likely he's going to be joining PSG, because reports did come out the other week saying that he's agreed a deal to join PSG on a free free at the end of the season. I think it's a 3-year deal, and I think it is about £150,000 a week, PSG are willing to give him. At one point I thought it was £200,000 a week, then it said it was £170,000 a week, but I think it's around £150,000 a week anyway, because at one point Man United were locked in contract negotiations, with Ander Herrera, but obviously Manchester United, couldn't come to an agreement, because reportedly we wasn't willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demands, of course, as well. But mainly his performances have been good under Solskjaer. Obviously, most recently he's had a couple of injuries, as Ander Herrera, of course, and obviously, he's missed the last couple of games. So I think overall, his performances have really, really improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's tenacious. He breaks up the play very, very well. And he is a good ball-playing midfielder, is Ander Herrera. But we do know that there's better midfielders out there, of course, than Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So Idrissa Gueye could be a good potential ideal replacement, for Ander Herrera. And you potentially, got the likes of Saul Niguez. There's been a lot of talks, about Saul Niguez, going on. It says City have been interested, United have been interested. It also said that Man United, City and Barcelona have been interested in Saul Niguez, because actually Saul Niguez, does play for Atletico Madrid, sorry about that mistake. But reportedly he's got a release clause of around £128 million, as I said, so he's going to cost us quite a bit of money. I think he does feel unhappy, with Atletico Madrid, to be quite honest with you, but again, he's spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid. He can actually play as a defensive mid, he can play as a central mid, he can also operate on the right, so he is versatile, is this player, but he has got a release clause in his deal with Atletico Madrid of around £128 million, so we've emphasised him as a possible replacement for Ander Herrera, but potentially he's going to cost us quite a bit of money, I think, because maybe Atletico Madrid may demand for the teams that are interested in him to, for his release clause, to get triggered, of course, as well. But I think Idrissa Gueye is a cheap alternative. I think he's a cheaper alternative, than Declan Rice, and I do like Declan Rice, to be quite honest, because I've watched him a few times, this season for West Ham, Declan Rice, and his performances have been quite good, to be quite honest. He did say Man United are prepared to spend, £50 million on Declan Rice, and potentially I think that's West Ham, that's the fee, West Ham, would demand for Declan Rice. He signed a new deal back in December with West Ham of last year until 2024, of course, as well. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, he's Declan Rice. He's only, 20 years of age, is Declan Rice, of course, well, so he has got a lot of years ahead of him as Declan Rice. Obviously, Premier League proven, of course. He's been at West Ham a number of years now. I think he broke into the senior squad, West Ham a couple of years ago as well, did Declan Rice, and he can break up the play well. He's mainly a holding midfielder, but he can operate as a centre-back as well. But I think we need a centre defensive mid, that's fast and tenacious, of course, because I've got strong reservations about Matic. He's too slow, he's ineffective in that midfield, plus he's aging up, and we need a centre defensive mid that's fast and tenacious, of course. And I did say we need depth in that midfield, of course, as well. So what do you think to Declan Rice? As I said, Man United, I think he's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, of course. Initially, he began his career with Chelsea. He began his youth career with Chelsea, but he joined them as a 7-year-old. Actually, as we all currently know, guys, he got axed by Chelsea at 14. Then he initially joined West Ham, Declan Rice, of course, and now he's been in the senior squad, quite a few years as well. So he's also, being mentioned in the media, of course, as well as Declan Rice. But as I did currently say, there's been other targets we do know that Manchester United have been interested in as well, and we still know that obviously we're in search for a centre-back, to come in this summer as well. And, there's been a lot of talks, still the rumours do continue to persist about, Napoli's Koulibaly, as we all know as well. Reports have come out from Italy saying that reportedly Manchester United have reportedly... It says Manchester United have reportedly, launched a £90 million bidding reportedly for Koulibaly, according to reports from Italy, reportedly. But Man United have been long admirers of Koulibaly. I don't know if we'll get him in the summer or not. It depends if Napoli are willing to sanction him off. But obviously, back in January, Manchester United had 3 bids turned down for him. The most recent one was £95 million. Napoli weren't willing to sell him in January. Obviously, back in last summer as well, obviously Man United were heavily linked with Koulibaly, of course. As well, it wasn't too long ago he signed a new deal with Napoli. He's on the contract with Napoli until 2023, as we all know, as well. But he's grown, developed and flourished fantastically well as Koulibaly. Of course, he's good in the air. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. He shows that ability to play out from the back, and we do need someone that can blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. And a player of his calibre, he would surely, be the right candidate for Manchester United. But again, we have got the financial power to meet his valuation. Of course, he probably will cost us in the region of at least £100 million. But as I did say, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, of course, as well. Maybe, we shouldn't spend too much money on one player, as we have done in the past, of course, because we did it with Lukaku for 75 million. We did it with Pogba for 89 million, of course, as well. So maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment, of course. But Koulibaly is a very, very good player. He's good in the air. He's 27, so he has got a lot of years ahead of him, and it would be good for him to experience the Premier League. He spent a number of years now in Italy, of course, as well. But I think Man United are also weighing up other options, of course, as well. And you've got Toby Alderweireld out there now. He's available for around £25 million this summer. Recent reports have been coming out saying that Man United are willing to trigger, Toby Alderweireld's 25 million release clause after Toby Alderweireld has reportedly, refused a contract renewal with Tottenham, because Tottenham back in January activated a 12-month extension, of course, and included a 25 million release clause. And I think it's indicating now that he does want to leave Tottenham, because obviously he's refused to sign a new contract, and I think he's keen on coming to Old Trafford too. It would be good for him to come to United, come and experience, the facilities at Manchester United, of course, play amongst different players, of course, as well, and it would be a good experience for Toby Alderweireld. Of course, we do know there's much better options and players out there than Toby Alderweireld, but he's available for just £25 million this summer, and I think he's been at Tottenham a number of years now. He's Premier League proven. Don't get me wrong, I've got strong reservations about him now, because he just recently turned 30. He has lost that yard of pace, of course, as well, and some of his performances have been underwhelming, for Tottenham, but yet again, some of his performances have been very, very good indeed, Alderweireld's, and he's made about over 150 appearances for Tottenham. He's been there a number of years now, of course, as well, and even if Tottenham were to get rid of him this summer, as I do keep saying, they've got options at the back. They've got Davinson Sanchez, that could link up, with Jan Vertonghen in their back line, of course, as well. But potentially Toby Alderweireld, obviously, throughout his career, obviously he was at Southampton on loan at one point. I think he played for Atletico Madrid. He actually began his career with Ajax as well, did Alderweireld. And Alderweireld can play as a centre-back. He can actually play as a right-back, of course, as well. So we still potentially, get a couple of years out of Alderweireld, of course, as well. So potentially he's available for a reasonable figure. But he's nowhere near on the same levels as the likes of the Rafael Varanes or the Koulibalys and all that, the top class, world class, the top quality central defenders. But there again, they're going to cost us a lot more money, and Toby Alderweireld is available for a reasonable figure, of course, as well. So maybe Man United should go in for him in the summer, and potentially could be one of our first signings in the summer as well. Could Toby Alderweireld indeed. And as I did currently say, so yeah, we've been interested, in quite a few targets. We do know the club's number one priority target is obviously, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. But again, if he is for sale in the summer, obviously he's going to cost us around £100 million indeed. Again, very, very young, just recently turned 19 years of age. But yeah, we do need someone that can play between the bylines, put crosses into the box, and I think he'd link up very, very well with Rashford and Martial in our front line. Jadon Sancho, if he was to come in, of course, as well. And there's been a narrative going on about it now for the past 4 or 5 weeks that Manchester United have been interested in him. If he comes to an agreement to get him in the summer, this probably would make him our most expensive signing, make him the most expensive English footballer ever as well. And I do really, really like Jadon Sancho, of course, to be quite honest here, but that's a bit too much money, £100 million for a 19-year-old player, and he's still one of England's youngest upcoming talents, of course, as well. But he's proven himself fantastically well in Germany with Borussia Dortmund, of course. So I think he's still the club's number one priority target. But I think we're expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out. Of course, there's still some contracts we need to sort out. Of course, we've got Paul Pogba. Of course, his future's up in the air at the moment as Paul Pogba. As reports were coming out yesterday saying that reportedly now his relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is slowly fading away after he built a fantastic relationship, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed the Manchester United reserve team, and obviously he watched this team now at this day and age, he watched some of them grow and develop, and Paul Pogba, was one of them, of course, as well. But recent reports are saying that reportedly Paul Pogba's relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is slowly fading away, because I do think Paul Pogba's intending on making a move to Madrid this summer, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually spoken to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually spoken to Paul Pogba, of course. Solskjaer's been in talks with him. Solskjaer insists he won't leave Man United, Pogba, and Solskjaer insists he won't leave Man United, and Solskjaer still believes that Pogba's got a big future at Manchester United, even though a couple of weeks ago, Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid. Zinedine Zidane is a big admirer of the player as well. And let's be honest, Pogba's been one of our most influential players since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming. Maybe in the last couple of games he's been below par. Didn't perform too bad on Wednesday night against Barcelona, but wasn't the best player on the pitch. But I think it's indicated, you know, what he said a couple of weeks ago about Madrid. He's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course. Well, Paul Pogba, obviously he's still under contract with Man United till 2021, as we all know, so still over 2 years left on his deal. And obviously there's an option of Vervier as well. Obviously his agent Raiola has been in the process of finding him a new club. His agent Raiola, you know, he's still in talks, I think, with Real Madrid, you know, over the summer move. He's been to Manchester to have talks over the potential summer move, of course. Well, and recent reports have said that reportedly Real Madrid are preparing to put a bid in of around 125 million for Paul Pogba this summer. But I think Solskjaer's priority is to keep Pogba and to keep De Gea, because they are two key players, as we all know, as well. But as I did currently say, yes, so Real Madrid, you know, are obviously heavily linked with Paul Pogba. As I said, Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player, and obviously I think Man United are set to begin contract negotiations with Paul Pogba, of course, you know, to fend off interest from Madrid. But reports came out the other week saying that reportedly he was demanding an astronomical salary of £500,000 a week if he was to remain loyal to Manchester United and if he was to sign a new contract with Manchester United. So he's on £300,000 a week at the moment in his current deal, so he's demanding an extra £200,000 if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course. So we have got quite a few players now, you know, demanding more money, and it's currently what Sanchez is receiving, because Sanchez is the highest paid player in the Premier League. He's our highest paid player, and as I did say, what he's currently receiving is totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way, of course, you know, considering what Sanchez is currently receiving, of course. And now we've got other players, you know, demanding, you know, quite a bit more money. And as I did say, you know, we've got De Gea, you know, in a similar scenario. You know, De Gea wants £350,000 a week now, you know, if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United as well. At the moment, Man United are not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands reportedly as well. So I think potentially, you know, I don't know what's going to be happening with De Gea. Hopefully somewhere online, you know, we can, you know, convince him to sign a new contract, but reportedly we're not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. At the moment, De Gea is on £200,000 a week, so he's demanding £150,000 pay rise if he is to sign a new contract with United. Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Obviously, recent reports have said that PSG are interested in David De Gea, of course, as well, and this is his 8th season now in the process at United, and he's been a good servant to the club, as I said. So hopefully somewhere online, you know, we could come to an agreement to get him a new contract, of course, as well. So they're probably the two players, you know, we do want to keep. But I think Man United are ready to sanction around 6 players off at least this summer, of course, as well. Valencia is definitely on his way out of the club, that's guaranteed. I think Rojo's on his way out of the club in the summer as well, because his career's been affected with the amount of injuries he's had. Darmian probably on his way out as well. Eric Bay probably on his way out as well, because he's been in and out of the team this season, especially if a new centre-back comes in this summer. I can see probably Eric Bay departing Manchester United this summer. This is his 3rd season now at United. Obviously it was one of Jose Mourinho's first signings, you know, when Jose Mourinho was here, of course, as well, and he has done well for Manchester United, but he's been in and out of the team this season as Eric Bay, and Solskjaer's preferred the likes of Smalling and the likes of Phil Jones, of course, as well. So I think he could be on his way out as well. Sanchez probably on his way out in the summer as well. Lukaku could be on his way out of Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. Probably Juan Mata is probably on his way out as well. So as I did say, you know, Solskjaer is expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, and he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to Manchester United, of course, this summer as well, because we do basically know that, you know, Solskjaer has mainly done a good job for Manchester United, of course, as well, because don't forget, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players, of course, and Jose Mourinho spent just under £400 million on 11 players. You know, there's still some players here from Louis van Gaal. You know, we did invest quite a bit of money under Louis van Gaal, of course, as well. So none of this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to rebuild in the summer, of course, and obviously, you know, wants to be up there competing, of course, you know, for a club of our size. And obviously, we've recently been in a bad vein of form. So hopefully, on Saturday evening, we can get back to winning ways against West Ham, of course. Well, if we don't win on Saturday evening, I think it's all over for our top 4. For our top 4 indeed. But as I said, Luke Shaw obviously suspended for the next 2 league games, obviously suspended for the Barcelona game in the second leg as well. The good positive news is that Ashley Young suspended, so he won't be playing, of course. He needs to get out of our club in the summer as well, because his crossing's poor, he loses possession far too easily, he gets exploited far too easily, and I just think he's really, really poor, is Ashley Young. I think he's gash now, Ashley Young, to be quite honest with you, and over the years he's been, you know, a consistent player for United, and back in the day was a good winner, but he's too old now. He's aging up. He's Ashley Young, so potentially a lot of United fans are demanding for him, to be forced out of the club this summer, of course. And potentially he's got a 1-year extension. I don't know why we give him that 1-year extension. God knows, Ashley Young. But by the time that expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age. Will Ashley Young, of course, as well. So potentially, recently, I think West Ham have actually, lost 4 out of the last 6 games, and Manchester United, we've lost 4 of our last 6 games as well. So most recently, we're in the same kind of form, of course. But West Ham obviously are fighting for the top 10, as we all know, because I think they're sitting 11th at the moment as well. So I'm confident United can win this, of course. So as I did say, the main part of this video is to give you a bit of a update, on the Liverpool-Chelsea coming up this Sunday. It's going to be a big game indeed. So I'll decide what I'm going to name the video, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless you all again very soon, guys. Thanks for watching.